Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you in the today's current event section for the ESIC 2021 Deputy Director exam. I really hope that all of you are healthy and preparing well for our upcoming exams. And my dear learners, in the today's session, we are going to discuss the 15 most important MCQs for the current event session of ESIC 2021 Deputy Director exam. So before beginning the session, if you are new to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us, and you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of the sessions. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. So let's move on to the session. Let's get started. And here is the very first question before all of you. And the first question is, consider the following statements in relation to the Chips to Startup program. See, all these programs, schemes, initiatives which are being launched by the government are really very important. And here the program which is the part of the discussion is the Chips to Startup program. Okay, so here what you are required to do, you are required to just identify the correct statements which are being mentioned here in relation with the Chips to Startup program, and then answer the question in the comment section below. And here when we talk about the very first statement, it says that it is an initiative of MITI and it aims to train 85,000 number of high quality and qualified engineering in the area of VLSI and embedded system design. The second statement is talking about the nodal agency of this particular program, that is CDAC, and then the third statement is saying that about the implementation of this program, that it would be implemented at about 100 academic institutions, R&D organizations across the country, startups and MSMEs. So when we talk about the right answer to this question, the right answer is option D, that is all of the above statements which are mentioned here about the Chips to Startup program are correct. That means it is an initiative of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And what exactly is the aim? The aim of this particular program is to train 85,000 number of high quality and qualified engineers. CTEC is the nodal agency and it is going to implement it across 100 academic institutions, R&D organizations. So let's discuss this particular program in much more detail from here. And here you can see that Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has recently invited applications under the Chips to Startup program from academia, R&D organizations, startups as well as MSMEs. So when we talk about that why exactly this program was being launched, see, this particular step which has been taken by MITI is to transform India into the next semiconductor hub. That means what exactly these semiconductors are? These are the silicon chips which caters to control and memory functions in products such as the automobiles, computers and cell phones. Okay, so the aim of this particular program we have already discussed. And now when we talk about the objectives of this particular program, here you can see that the objective of this particular program is to generate industry ready manpower in the system, promoting industry led research and development, making the culture of developing reusable IP cores, and broadening the base of ASIC chips, and the protection of intellectual property which is being generated across this particular sector. And when we talk about the key research and development area, see, all are these dimensions across which you are required to cover all these programs, the schemes, etc., because on the basis of the same only the questions are being asked in the exam. And here you can see when we talk about the key research and development areas, here you can see that energy and healthcare, agriculture, disaster management, intelligent transport system, these are all those areas where there will be a research and development for this particular semiconductor chips. Okay, and when we talk about the participating organizations, we have already discussed that 100 academic institutions such as IITs, NITs, startups and MSMEs and R&D organizations are going to participate in this particular program. Okay, so these are some additional information about this particular program that you can go through. But when we talk about the another important point, that is the nodal agency. So the nodal agency for this particular program will be the Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So that was all from this particular part. Now let's move on to the next question, and the next question is, Kumbalangi is set to become India's first sanitary napkin free village. Okay, and it is located in which one of the following Indian states? See, in this particular question, it is really a very basic question, and here you are just required to tell me the name of the state in which this particular village is being located. So this particular village has become India's first sanitary napkin free village, and here you are required to just tell me the name of the state. So the right answer for this question is option A, Kerala. That is, this Kumbalangi village is being located in the Indian state of Kerala. So when we talk about this particular part, here you can see that this village is implementing an initiative which is being titled as Avalkai. Okay, and under this initiative, what exactly the administration is going to do? Administration is going to that menstrual cups will be distributed to women. See, under this particular program, the administration is going to distribute the menstrual cups to women aged 18 and above. So that's how it is going to become the India's first sanitary napkin free village. Okay, so I hope that this is very much clear. This was a very basic question, and now let's move on to the next question, which is here on your screen. The next question is about the Nari Shakti Puraskars. So my dear learners, here once again there are three statements, and here you are required to identify the incorrect statement in relation with the Nari Shakti Puraskar which are being mentioned here. The very first statement says the instituting year as well as the ministry which is responsible for its institution. The second statement says that this particular Puraskars provides an opportunity to the young Indians to understand the contribution of women in building of society and the nation. And the third statement says that the awards are being conferred on the occasion of International Women's Day every year. So my dear learners, when we talk about the right answer to this question, the right answer is option D, that is all of the above. So here let's discuss this particular news in much more detail, and here you can see that recently the nominations for the Nari Shakti Puraskar were being opened, and they are going to close by 31st January 2022. And this information is no use for you, but here what exactly is useful for you and for your exam is that these awards were established in 1999, instituted by Ministry of Development, Women and Child Development, and the award ceremony is being conferred on International Women's Day. So when we talk about the International Women's Day, see, you are also required to remember the day as well, and this day is being celebrated on 8th of March every year. Okay, so kindly note down the date that this day is being celebrated every year on 8th of March, and this particular Puraskars, these awards are being conferred to the women in order to provide an opportunity to the young Indians to understand that what exactly is the contribution of women in building of society and the nation. And one of the famous person have also said that women are the real architects of the society, and in order to recognize their contribution, that what exactly they are contributing towards the development of the nation, towards the development of the society, these particular awards are being conferred. Okay, so here the eligibility criteria for the eligibility to receive award is being mentioned here. Now when we talk about that who is going to receive the award, see, it may be awarded for the outstanding work, preferably in exceptional circumstances, to the individuals, groups, institutions, NGOs, etc. And see, it is not just confined to the individuals, groups and institutions. An award may also be given to the state or the union territory which has appreciably improved the child sex ratio in their particular regions. So I really hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now there is a homework for all of you, that you are going to tell me that what exactly is the theme of International Women's Day which is being celebrated every year on 8th of March. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, consider the following statements regarding the Padhe Bharat campaign. See, one of the very important question. Padhe Bharat campaign was being launched recently by the ministry, by the Department of the School Education and Literacy, which works under the Union Ministry of Education. And my dear learners, here you are once again required to identify the correct statements with respect to this particular campaign. So kindly go through all these statements and then tell me that what exactly is the right answer for this question. So here you can see the very first statement, that the initiative, it is an initiative of the Department of School Education and Literacy. The second statement says the duration of the campaign, that will be of 100 days, and the third statement says that it will focus on children studying in Bal Vatika to grade 8, and all of these statements which are being mentioned here about the Pade Bharat campaign are correct, and the right answer to this question is option D, that is all of the above. So let's discuss this particular part in much more detail, and here you can see that recently the Union Minister of Education has launched the Pade Bharat, which is a 100 days reading campaign. See, this particular campaign has been launched in order to inculcate the habit of reading in the Indian students, and that is the reason that this particular program has been launched, and it also aims to create a joyful reading experience for all the students. Okay, so when we talk about the duration of the campaign, it is going to be of 100 days, that is 14 weeks, and it is going to focus on those children who are studying in Balvatika to grade 8. Okay, so I hope that this is very much clear. Apart from that, another important point is that this campaign is going to focus on Indian languages, including the mother tongue, local, regional languages. Okay, so that means all the languages which are in the schedule, they are being covered under this particular part. For example, if someone's mother tongue is Hindi, or someone's mother tongue is Gujarati, so then the people of that particular part, the children of that particular area, will be encouraged to read in their mother tongues as well. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next question, and the next question is about a very important scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. See, once again I am repeating my words that all these schemes, the programs, the initiatives, and apart from that, the reports which are being launched by the governments are really very important from the exam point of view. So here when we talk about the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, what is the demand of the question? It is asking for the correct statements which are being mentioned here about the scheme, and here you are required to identify the correct statement. The very first statement says that this particular scheme was being launched by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare in 2016. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. The third statement is asking about the aim of this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, that is to reduce the premium burden on the farmers and to ensure that all the settlements, that early settlement of crop insurance claim for the full insured sum. So here you are required to tell me the correct answer, and the right answer to this question is option D. That means all these statements mentioned above here are correct in relation with the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. And here you can see the whole scheme. See, across all these dimensions you are always required to cover the schemes. Okay, so when we talk about the nodal ministry for the scheme, it is the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. It was the launch year was 2016. What is the aim? The aim is to reduce the premium burden on farmers and to ensure early settlement of the crop assurance. So when we talk about this type of the scheme, it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Okay, so and what are the objectives of this scheme? It is to provide financial support to the farmers, stabilize the income of the farmers, encourage farmers to adopt innovative and modern agricultural practices, and ensuring the credit worthiness of the farmers. So I hope that all these points which are related to this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana is very much clear to all of you. And now we are moving towards the next question in the here. And here the next question is, which one of the following districts of Odisha has become the first district in the state to declare itself a child marriage free district? See, recently one of the districts of the Indian state, that is Odisha, has declared that it has become a child marriage free district. And here you are required to tell me the name of that district, that what exactly is the right answer, whether it is Gajapati, or it is Angul, or Ganjam, or Balasore. Do answer the question in the comment section below. And when we talk about the very first district of the Odisha which has become the child marriage free district, then it is none other than option C, that is Ganjam. So here you can see that the Ganjam in Odisha has recently become the first district in the state to declare itself a child marriage free district. And to stop these child marriages, what was the major step which has been taken? It was Nirbhaya Kadi. So kindly I'm marking the star here, that this particular term is really very important, that to stop the child marriages, Ganjam district has launched the Nirbhaya Kadi in September 2019. Okay, so here you can see about everything about the Nirbhaya Kadi campaign, that what exactly it was. See, it is an innovative awareness campaign for the empowerment of adolescents and to prevent the child marriage. It was launched in order to prevent the adolescent girls from dropping out of schools and provide counseling. Apart from that, under this campaign, the Anganwadi workers and the accredited social health activists, that is ASHA workers, organized meetings for these adolescent girls at the village level every month, and they aware these girls about the ill impacts of the child marriages. So that was all about the Nirbhaya Kadi campaign, and the important points of this campaign have been already discussed. And now we are moving towards the next question, which is here on your screen. And the next question is about the Diksha, the One Nation One Digital platform. And here once again you are required to identify the incorrect statement in regarding this particular platform, that is Diksha, which stands for Digital Infrastructure for School Education. And the very first statement says that this particular platform was being launched in year 2017, and then the second statement is asking about the initiative, that it is one as an initiative of NCERT under the Ministry of Education. The third statement says that it provides quality e-content for the school education in states, union territories, and quick response coded energized textbooks. So here you are required to identify the incorrect statement in relation with this Diksha platform, and here the right answer to this question is option C, that is all of the above. The statements which are being mentioned here are correct. So I am there is just a mistake here. You are required to select the correct statements in relation with the Diksha platform, and the right answer to this question is option D, that is all of the above. Okay, so I will correct it in the PDF itself, but the major part of this particular question is that here you are required to remember about this platform, that is Diksha. And we have discussed all the important points, and now let's discuss other important points which are being mentioned here. And here you can see that recently the Minister of State for Education has shared the details of the educational content and facilities which are being offered to children with the disabilities in Diksha, that is a digital infrastructure for school education platform. Okay, and when we talk about discuss this particular platform, it says that it is a national platform for the school education. It provides the quality e-content for the school education in states, union territories, as well as quick response coded energized textbooks, and it was an initiative of the NCERT under the Ministry of Education. It was developed based on the core principles of open architecture. Then it has been adopted by 35 states and union territories till now, and I really believe that this question is very much clear to all of you. And now let us move on to the next particular question, which is about the climate action and finance mobilization dialogue. See, recently this particular dialogue was being launched, and here you are required to identify the incorrect statements using the code given below. And here, my dear learners, when we talk about this particular dialogue, that the very first statement says that it was being jointly launched by India and United States of America. Okay, the second statement says that it is one of the two tracks under the India-US climate and clean energy agenda. See, this India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 was being launched during the Leaders Summit last year in April 2021. Okay, so during this particular summit, they have announced that there will be two tracks. One is the climate action and finance mobilization, and which one is the next? The next one was, which is being mentioned here, that is the strategic clean energy partnership. So when we talk about the right answer to this question, the right answer is option D, that is none of the above. That means all the statements mentioned about this particular dialogue are correct. So let's discuss this particular dialogue in much more detail. And here you can see that India and US have launched the climate action and finance mobilization dialogue, and this was formally launched by the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate, Shri Bhupender Yadav, and John Kerry, who is the United States Special Presidential Envoy for the Climate. And I want to add this point here, that this particular dialogue was being launched under the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership, and it is one of the two tracks under this particular partnership. The second track is the Strategic Clean Energy Partnership. See, when this particular dialogue was being launched, and during this particular summit, both the countries have announced some targets regarding the climate change, that they are required to achieve in the upcoming period. And when we talk about the target of the India, it was that India has set a target of installing 450 gigawatts of the renewable energy by year 2030. And when we talk about the United States, it has decided to reduce its net greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% below 2005 levels by the 2030. And both of these countries have decided to cooperate with each other to support each other in achieving these particular targets which they have announced and targeted during this leaders summit on climate. So I hope that all of this part is very much clear to all of you. And now let's move on to the next question. And the next question is, name the union territory which will be the first union territory in India to have a district level good governance index. See, recently it was announced that this particular union territory will become the very first union territory in India which is going to have a district level good governance index, which is will be on the same lines of the good governance index. And here you are just required to identify the name of the union territory which is going to be the first UT. Okay, whether it is Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Chennai and Ladakh. And my dear learners, the right answer to this question is option B, that is Jammu and Kashmir. So here you can see that Union Minister of State in the Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions have announced that the district level good governance index is going to be launched in Jammu and Kashmir. And with the launch of this particular DGGI, J&K will become the very first union territory in India to have this district level good governance index. Okay, and it will be set up by the Department of the Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances in collaboration with the government of Jammu and Kashmir. There will be total of 58 indicators as per the good governance index framework. So the rest additional informations you can just go through them. Now we are moving towards the next question, which is here on your screen. And the next question is about another important initiative taken by the government, that is the Model Tenancy Act. So in this particular question, you are required to identify the correct answer using the codes given below. And here when we talk about the very first statement, it says that the Model Tenancy Act was being launched to promote rental housing by balancing and protecting the interests of both the tenants as well as the landlords. That means this Model Tenancy Act aims to promote the rental housing. Okay, and it is going to support both the tenants and landlords. And under this particular act, rent court and rent tribunal both are going to dispose the cases within a period of 60 days, and in the case of delay, the reasons will be mandated to be recorded in the writing. And the third statement says that it has been circulated to all states in year 2021. So kindly tell me the right answer, that which one of the following statements are correct in relation with the Model Tenancy Act. And here the right answer to this question is option C, that is both statement first and third are correct. So what exactly is the wrong about this particular second statement? The wrong thing is this period. See, when we talk about this particular Model Tenancy Act, this Model Tenancy Act says that under this particular act, to ensure the speedy dispute resolution, it is provision that rent court and the rent tribunals both are going to endeavor to dispose the cases within a period of 60 days and not the 30 days. So that was the reason that second statement was incorrect. And here you can see that it was being circulated on 7th of June 2021 to all the Indian states and union territories for adoption by way of enacting fresh legislation or amending existing rental laws suitably for the future tenancies. And here are the different interests which it is going to cater, that is balancing the interests and rights of the landlord and tenant. It is going to create an adequate and affordable rental housing stock. Apart from that, it is going to enable formalization of the rental housing market, and then it is going to encourage the private participation in the sector, and it is going to unlock the vacant premises for the rental purposes. So I really believe that this particular Model Tenancy Act is very much clear to all of you. And when we talk about the grievance redressal mechanism, then there is going to be three authorities. The first one is the rent authority, second one is the rent court, and third one is the rent tribunal. Okay, so the heads of these authorities are already being mentioned here. That is, a deputy collector is going to be the head of the rent authority, additional collector or the ADM is going to head the rent court, and the district judge or the additional district judge is going to head the rent tribunal. So I really believe that this particular part, the Model Tenancy Act, is very much clear why it has been launched and what exactly the states are going to do and how the grievance redressal mechanism is going to work. Everything is clear. And now let's move on to the next question, that is about the Global Risk Report 2022. See, I want to add one more point here, that all the reports and indices which are being released by the important international organizations, that is World Bank, then we have IMF, then we have other important organizations like OPEC. So all these reports which are being launched by these particular organizations, including the World Economic Forum, are really very important from the exam point of view, and that is the reason that we are also covering the same. Okay, so here in this particular question, what exactly you are required to do? You are required to choose the correct option using the code mentioned above about the Global Risk Report 2022. So the very first statement says that it has been released by the World Economic Forum. It examines risks across 5 categories. The name of the 5 categories has been mentioned here, that is the economic, environmental, geopolitical, societal, and technological. And the third statement is that about the important finding of this particular report, that is 5 of the top 10 global risks are related to the pandemic. Okay, so what exactly is the correct answer? The correct answer to this question is option B, that is both statement first and second are correct, and the third statement is incorrect, because the 5 of the top 10 global risks as per the findings of the Global Risk Report 2022 are related to climate change and not the pandemic. So that's why the third statement is incorrect and the first two statements are correct. So here you can see that this particular report was being launched by the World Economic Forum, and this was the 17th edition of this particular report. And when we talk about this report, it tracks the global risk perceptions among the risk experts and world leaders, and it divides all these risks in different 5 categories, that are economic, environmental, geopolitical, societal, and technological. Okay, so when we talk about the key important findings that you are required to remember from here, and here you can see that the top 5 risks as per this report are the climate crisis, growing social divides, heightened cyber risk, and uneven global recovery. And when we talk about the risk which is impacting, which is dominating this list of risk, is the risk related to climate or the environment related areas, which comprises of 5 of the top 10 global risks. Okay, and apart from that, when we talk about the top 5 risk, when we take the case of India, then here you can see that the risk number 1, the topmost risk which is going to impact in the upcoming decade, is the fracture of the interstate relations. The second most important, the impactful risk, is going to be debt crisis in the large economies, which is going to impact our country at most. And the third risk is the widespread youth disillusionment. Fourth one is the failure of technology governance, and fifth one is digital inequality. So all of these risks are going to impact India in the upcoming decade. And here this particular report has specially mentioned about the India's targets to reach net zero emission. And I want to add one more point here, that during the COP26 summit held in November 2021, our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has just announced and declared during the summit that India is going to become net zero emissions by year 2070. And it also said, this report also said, that all the best largest emitters have now agreed to start phasing out the fossil fuels. Okay, so that was the important points from this Global Risk Report 2022 that you are required to remember from the exam point of view. And now we are moving towards the next question, and the next question is once again from the one of the indexes, that is, what was India's rank in the Hurun Global Unicorn Index 2021? It was first, second, third, or fourth? That is the question that you are required to answer in the comment section, that what exactly was the India's rank in the Hurun Global Unicorn Index 2021. And the right answer to this question is option C, that is third. And here we can see that this 2021 Hurun Global Unicorn list was being launched recently, and according to this list, India has 54 unicorns, and India was third in this particular list. Okay, and when we talk about the top ranker of this particular list, it was United States in this particular list, which was followed by China, which is only having 74 unicorns. So on the very first part, it was United States with the 254 unicorns. On the second position it was China, and on the third position it was India with the with the total of 54 unicorns, which out of which 33 were added in 2020. Okay, so I hope that this particular part is very much clear. And now let's move on to the next question. And the next question is You are here required to identify the pair of the organizations which have recently received the World Bank Group and the Consumer Technology Association's Global Women's Health Tech Awards. See, recently two organizations have been awarded with the Global Women Health Tech Awards, and these organizations have been awarded because of their contribution towards using the health in order to improve the status of women's health in the emerging markets. And when we talk about the right answer for this question, the right answer is option A, that is Inecal and Nirmay. So here you can see that recently the Global Women's Health Tech Awards were being conferred, and it was being conferred. Before talking about it, I want to add here that it is a joint initiative of the World Bank and Consumer Technology Association, which gives Global Women's Health Tech Awards. And why exactly this award is being conferred? Because of the innovative startups which have leveraged the technology to improve women's health and safety in the emerging markets. And when we talk about the award winners, it was Nirmay and Inecal. And when we talk about the Nirmay, it was being conferred the award for its novel software which is based on the medical device. And when we talk about the Inecal, it has been awarded for the Fetal Light, which is a next generation AI powered fetal heart rate monitor. Okay, so that was all about this particular news. I really believe that this is very much clear about the Global Health Tech Awards, why it has been launched, and who were the award winners for this particular award. And now let's move on to the next question. The next question is, India's first indigenous cattle genomic chip, Indigo, has been launched in which one of the following states? This is really a very basic question, and here you are required to just identify the name of the state where this India's first indigenous cattle genomic chip has been launched, whether it was UP, MP, Maharashtra, or Telangana. Kindly answer the question in the comment section below, the name of the state where India's first indigenous capital cattle genomic chip has been launched, that is Indigo. See, here you are required to also remember the name as well, and the right answer to this particular question is option D, that is Telangana. Okay, so here you can see that the Union Minister of State for the Science and Technology has recently launched Indigo, India's first indigenous cattle genomic chip, and this was being launched in Hyderabad. Okay, it has been developed to conserve pure varieties of the indigenous cattle breeds. The name of them has been mentioned here, and it has been developed by the National Institute of Animal Biotechnology, NAIB, which is located in Hyderabad, and that was one of the reasons that it was being launched in Hyderabad. So I hope that this is very much clear. And now let's move on to the next question, which is about the Swachh Vidyalaya Puraskar. See, these Puraskars are being conferred in order to recognize the sanitation facilities which are being provided by the schools in India, and in order to recognize their efforts, this particular award was being launched in year 2016-17 by the Department of School Education and Literacy. And here in this question you are required to answer the correct options from the above given statements, that which statement is correct in relation with the Swachh Vidyalaya Puraskar. See, very first statement I have already told you. The second statement says that it will going to that under this particular Puraskars, the schools will be assessed through an online portal and mobile app in the 6 subcategories. And the third statement says that for the school Swachh Vidyalaya Puraskar 2021-2022, it is all the schools will be open, and this award will be open for only government and government aided schools in rural areas. And when we talk about the correct statements which are being mentioned here, it is just statement first and second are correct, and the right answer for this question is option A, that is both statement 1 and 2 are correct. So what exactly is the wrong part about the third statement? It is that this particular SYP 2021-2022 is open for all the schools, whether they are government schools or they are government aided schools or they are private schools. So this particular award, these particular Puraskars are open for all the schools which are in India. Okay, so here you can see that it is an initiative of the Department of School Education and Literacy under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. And why exactly it has been launched? It has been launched to recognize the schools in their efforts, their exemplary efforts and work in the field of water, sanitation and hygiene. And it also provides a benchmark and roadmap to all these schools to make further improvements in the future, to identify the areas, that what are the different areas that they are required to improve their services. And that's why When we talk about the assessment areas on the basis of which these particular schools are being assessed, then these are water, sanitation, hand washing with the soap, operation and maintenance, behavior change and capacity building, and COVID-19 preparedness and a response. Okay, and there is some additional information as well which is important for all of you, that is the schools shall be awarded at the district, state as well as the national level, and this award will be based on internationally recognized 5-star rating system. So that was all about the school Swachh Vidyalaya Puraskar. Okay, so my dear learners, that was all from the today's session. I really believe that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. Keep healthy, stay healthy. Thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.